This journey of healing is so worth it. The illusion of control and the dream body isn't. Life is so much more than the narrow confines of an eating disorder. Life is so much more than the freaking stupid ass illusions that the media is trying to sell to us. Hi, my name is Mary, and I think I'm finally ready to talk about this. In around 2016, I had a video go viral. It was a very popular kind of video to make at the time. The intent behind me making that video was to showcase the struggles I had been through and show that healing is possible and there is so much more waiting for you on the other side of your issues with food and with your body. And I have since privated the video because I look back and I don't like the fact that I used a lot of images of my body, and I don't want to glorify eating disorders in any way. But I thought it could be helpful if you're someone who is struggling to see where I'm at now. So I created that viral video back in 2016 or 2015, and I had just begun my healing. I was 18 years old. At the time, I had struggled with my relationship with food and my relationship with my body for as long as I could remember. My issues with food were something that I thought I would never get over. I literally lived every single day of childhood and adolescence just thinking about food and how I felt so out of control, hating my body, wanting to change my body and to look like a Victoria's Secret model. And I was just obsessed and tormented every day. It was not a fun way to live. And if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be in the place where I am right now with food and my body and my relationship with myself, I wouldn't have believed you. And I want to tell you that miracles are possible and healing is so, so worth it. So if you feel trapped right now, if you feel as though there's no hope, I want you to know that there is hope. And I look back and I know that the struggles that I've had have made me stronger, more resilient, and more connected to myself. I'm a wiser human being for having gone through what I went through. I want to help you by sharing what helped me through the process, because I didn't have anybody guiding me through the process. I didn't have a doctor or a therapist or family who were there guiding me and cheering me on. My decision to heal my eating disorder was completely my decision. No one pushed me to heal, and it was completely up to me to navigate the healing. So in no way is this video medical advice or professional advice. It is just what helped me, because I believe that if I can heal on my own, so can you. And you don't have to despair about the fact that you don't have supportive family or access to mental health care, or you can't afford therapy. Believe that you can do it on your own, because I did. So the first tip I have for you if you are embarking on a healing journey is to be fully committed to the process, okay? Don't be flip-floppy with it. True growth comes from breaking through barriers, and that requires constant recommitment in the face of struggle. I got to the point in my life when I was a teenager where I was so fed up with the way I was living. I was so fed up with the misery I was putting myself through by starving myself and overexercising and binge eating. I told myself that there was no other option other than healing it, and I didn't care how long it took me. I didn't really think about it that much. I just knew that I wanted to heal, and I let that be my guiding vision, my guiding force. And fuck yeah, there were really, really low times in that process. Overcoming, getting through those low times is what got me to the amazing place that I am in today. Gaining weight is gonna fucking suck. You're gonna hate it and you're not gonna want to do it, but you just have to suck it up and allow your body to gain weight. Be committed to the overall process. Be committed to the vision. Don't sweat the small phases of the process, okay? This is making you stronger. This is going to get you to an amazing place with yourself. There are times on this journey, probably a lot of times, where you will feel completely out of control with yourself and with food and with your body, and you're going to want conflicting things because you want to be skinny, but you also want to heal and trust that you are in a process of rebalancing your energies, and be committed to this process. Please recommit over and over and over again and let your vision guide you. My second tip is to surround yourself with resources and inspiration that will give you knowledge and help you heal. And a big part of this is unfollowing any accounts that make you feel triggered and insecure, unfollowing any types of media that trigger you. Back in the day when I was a teenager, I was constantly comparing myself to other women. I was constantly online scrolling, looking at photos of other women, and that was really detrimental to my self-esteem. When we compare ourselves against people in a way that we're judging what they have that we don't have, that is so detrimental to your well-being. You do not need that energy in your life. That is a waste of energy and your time. Your time on this earth is fucking precious. Please don't waste it by comparing yourself needlessly to others. One of the books that really helped me when I was in the depths of my healing journey was a book called Brain Over Binge. And this book goes into the scientific aspects of what happens within our bodies when we impose starvation on ourselves. And it really helped me understand the point that if I continue to starve myself, I'm setting myself up for binges and being uncontrollable with food. So just know that starvation equals binge. And when that clicked in my mind, I was like, fuck no, I don't want to starve myself anymore. This is perpetuating the cycle of me being out of control with food. And my goal was to feel in control. I didn't want food to control me anymore. I wanted to be in control. You also want to be surrounding yourself with resources that help you get to the root of your eating disorder and not just cover up the issue, right? One of the things that I did was I focused solely on healing my issues with food, and I wasn't treating really the real cause of my issues, like the real traumas and issues that I had buried deep down inside of me. I was kind of putting that aside and seeing my eating disorder through like a compartmentalized lens of like, oh, I want to heal this. But I didn't think that it was really related to anything else in my life. And it wasn't until years and years later that I was like, oh, like I had issues with food and my body because of my childhood and because, you know, certain things happened to me that made me feel that way, that made me respond to myself in that way, right? And you don't need to force this process. You don't need to force all of this like a processing of trauma, but I'm saying be open to going deeper. Be open to exploring more within yourself, because this is really a process that will bring you so close to yourself and give you so much wisdom, make you wiser, make you happier, make you more grounded and more at peace in your life. And isn't that what we all want? Like, just being skinny and having these issues isn't fucking worth it. I'm sorry, it's not. My third tip is to get busy. Get a hobby, start doing it, push yourself to do things. Something that really helped me when I was embarking on my healing journey was getting a job that got me out of the house. I met new people. I was constantly distracted by work. And I just didn't have the same amount of energy and time to give to, fueling my eating disorder. It is totally possible to transform your pain into something constructive, to transform destructive energy into constructive energy. And if you approach this consciously, this is exactly what you can do, because you are giving destructive energy towards yourself if you have an eating disorder, or if you hate your body and you hate yourself. But with conscious awareness, you can take that destructive energy, bring the power back to yourself, and you can transform it into something creative, into something amazing. You can create art with it. So I encourage you to write poetry, paint, draw, make music, do the things that you love, dance, do things that make you feel free and light. Tap into that playful, creative energy. An eating disorder, the energy of an eating disorder has so much control and constriction and resistance energy and force energy. The goal should be to welcome in more loving energy, playful energy, creative energy, curious energy. What happens if I shift my energy into doing something more flowy and creative and beautiful? Turn this pain into art and it will heal you. Turning your pain into art is the process of healing, okay? It is going to help you. It's never going to hurt you. My next tip for healing is to eat to nourish yourself. Take breaks from exercising and don't sweat the small stuff. So when I say eat to nourish yourself, food is something that is meant to nourish our minds, bodies, and souls. Food is Mother Earth's way of giving to us, of supporting us and expressing love to us. And an eating disorder really contorts that so much and brings control and negative energy into food. An eating disorder removes gratitude, the natural gratitude and connection we should be feeling to our food. I personally lately have made it a habit always to pray over my meals. For me, that looks like just taking a moment to look at what I'm eating, all the individual aspects of what's on my plate, acknowledge all the farmers involved, acknowledge all the elements that helped create this meal, acknowledge whoever made this meal, and really thank the process and thank the nutrients that are going to nourish me. Food is not just a thing that makes you fat. Food is love. Food is pleasure. Food is life. And please don't be afraid to take long breaks away from exercising. Sometimes you need months, sometimes you need a year. Let yourself rest. Let yourself rest. Please, 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 please. Again, keep your long-term vision at the forefront, okay? Always remember your long-term vision. And if you feel intuitively that you want to rest, you wish you could be resting, you don't need to be exercising so much. You don't need to maintain this strict routine. And allow yourself to find your flow. Maybe doing an hour run on the treadmill isn't something that brings you joy, but maybe turning on some music and dancing around makes you feel alive. And this is where that energy of play comes in. Allow yourself to explore what genuinely makes you feel good. When we hate our bodies and have an eating disorder, we become so out of touch with the things that make us feel genuinely good, and we become out of touch with what we really want to be doing. You're allowed to have fun, you're allowed to play, you're allowed to prioritize your pleasure in this life, and doing that actually creates magic and brings you closer to yourself. Don't sweat the small stuff. If you eat something that makes you feel horrible, if you feel like you overate, if you binged, if you fell into the trap of comparison on Instagram, it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel bad about yourself. You don't have to spiral, because these emotions are going to pass. You take them one stride at a time, okay? Take it one stride at a time, and always, always, always give yourself compassion for your suffering and for your pain. If you are feeling a negative emotion, a disturbed emotion, give yourself compassion and practice saying to yourself, I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. I see you. I hear you. And this brings me to my bonus point. My last tip of what helped me heal was viewing my depression, my guilt, my anxiety, my shame as a call to self-love. These emotions are really just like our inner child tugging on us, being like, hey, can you validate me? Hey, can you give me love? I'm here. And it's your decision whether you push her away and berate her, or if you turn to her and say, I see you, I hear you, I validate you, I hold you. It's so easy to be really mean to ourselves, and these difficult feelings are always a call to greater union with self. They're always a call to greater self-compassion and greater love. You know, if anyone understands the feeling of self-loathing and self-disgust that occurs after you binge, like it's one of the worst feelings in the world. I realized over time that this whole process of what I was doing to myself was coming from a place of deep self-loathing and self-hatred. It wasn't just happening for no reason. It happened because I was trying to punish myself, because I didn't love myself. I'm quite the opposite. I hated myself, right? And so I felt like I deserved to self-punish. I felt like I deserved to live in misery. And on some level, I wanted myself to be living in misery because that's what I believed that I deserved. But the only way we can overcome these feelings is by being fully committed to the process of loving ourselves more deeply. Remember that. Self-love, deeper union with self is always the goal, and that is what every experience in life has to offer you. Deeper union with yourself, greater wisdom, greater inner peace, because you know how to navigate something now. You know how to connect back to yourself in times of turmoil. That is so freaking valuable. The goal is to live in union with ourselves, not against ourselves. Do you honestly want to be an old lady who hates herself? Do you honestly want to be an old lady who has an eating disorder, who hates her body? That is something that I asked myself, and I was like, fuck no, that sounds horrible. I want to be a badass old lady who passes on wisdom to younger generations and is an inspiration to my grandchildren, right? I don't want to be hating myself. I don't want to be living in my fucking head when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old. I want to be free. You deserve to be free. I hope this video helps you in some way. I have so much more to say on this topic, so I think I will be making more videos about this. Leave me a comment if this video helped you, or leave me a comment about what you want me to go into more, or just your thoughts on what I'm saying. I am wishing you so much peace and love,